But tender is not an anomaly. The market apparatus will always find its useful scapegoat.
Remember, babe, it's Paris. Anything can happen.
We both know that this world will own you if you don't harden up.
When Yasmin is having that difficult conversation with Henry in the beginning, she says, I don't love you. And he asks if she ever did. And she says, yes, but was that, do you feel that was true?
I think it is true in that, like, she loved him as much as she needed to love him to be married to him forever. Like, I think what she's actually saying is, like, I would have stayed married to you if you'd have behaved yourself. Was she like completely in love with him, head over heels, like, this is the great love, they're going to write books about this kind of love? Of course not. Is Yasmin capable of that kind of love? Probably not. So, like, what are we, you know, what... I think what Yasmin's really saying is it doesn't matter. Like, I would have stayed. And, like, yes, in a way, grow up is what she's saying.
Harper and Yasmin have this scene where Harper says she's trying to prove that she's not less than. Yasmin is trying to prove that she's necessary. What would you guys say is, like, Henry and Whitney's versions of those declarations? What is Henry trying to prove and Whitney trying to prove?
Henry could just be born, live on his wealth, be a party boy, you know, and carry on in that way. Like that he could do that. But he wants to prove he is something, not just a rich boy who's come into wealth. He wants to prove that he's a good man, he has a place in the world, and that he has a reason to be here. And in some ways he's trying to do the right thing. Even in season 3, he's trying to create a green energy company. Season 4, he goes, before he starts, he tries to be an MP. He is an MP, and he's a really good MP, actually. And then that fails. And then he's trying to democratize, all through this season, he's trying to democratize fintech, you know? He's the guy that's going, no, we need to bring this to the mass. He's trying to be good. And he's trying to be worthy and worthwhile, and fight against his privilege. That's kind of what he wants to be.
It's such a difficult question for Whitney. I mean, I think that the answer is probably that his identity is enough, and that class is not so important. You know, there's things he seems to be very consumed by that he shouldn't be.
Yeah, and are we to assume that this kind of, like, this level of manipulation that he puts these characters through this season is what he did with Jay, Cal Penn's character, as well in the past? Because we know that he has this history of hiring these escorts and everything. So is this what happens with Henry, more of the same, or is it like an evolution for him?
I feel like he had a unique relationship with Jonah. That, you know, yeah, started in college, and that was a very, very sort of specific dynamic. And I think you're meeting, you know, Whitney at a very pivotal moment in his life, and he's obviously also moving into a new country and culture. So I think we're seeing him, you know, develop his superpowers, for better or worse.
If the show is renewed for a season 5, do you hope to come back for more and continue doing this, or like, do you think that these stories are like endpoints for these characters?
I think they really gave me an incredible season 4, where they put the character through pretty much everything. I don't know what else they can put Henry through. I love Mick and Con. I'd always listen to offers from them about, you know, I don't know how many seasons they plan, but if there's more seasons and they want Henry to come back in a kind of small way or a bigger way, I don't mind. I'd always listen to Mick and Con. Yeah,
I mean, to Kit's point, I really hope to get to work with Mickey and Conrad on another project at some point, because they're so endlessly talented and they're so unique. Actually, what they're doing is so specific, and it was really fun to work on this.
Yasmin and Haley have a really interesting dynamic throughout the season. Like, you don't really expect them to connect. I feel like Yasmin weirdly connects to her, but I don't know if your character feels the same way. What is your take on how she feels about Yasmin specifically? I feel like she reached a weird place of trust with her by the end of the season.
It's interesting because I'm like, is it a chicken or an egg thing? Like, because obviously when Haley and Yasmin meet, Haley kind of makes that initial little like, or I could get into bed with you kind of thing to see if she bites. And Yasmin does. And then all of a sudden there's like this kind of spiritual cosmic shift, I feel like, in their realities where now they're in each other's lives. And obviously Haley plays a much longer game than I think Yasmin had anticipated, and isn't upfront with Yasmin, and is not like, I would say, a trustworthy person. But for some reason, I think Yasmin sees herself in Haley, and I think they really bond over the stuff that they've been through, especially with men. And in those kind of quiet moments and in those bonding moments, I think they find a sense of friendship and camaraderie and trust, even though maybe that trust isn't necessarily earned. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think they just have chemistry. I think they have like legitimate chemistry for what it's worth.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's like, was it a surprise for Haley because she started doing this because like through the direction of Max's character, right? So like,
yeah,
trying to like trick these wealthy people essentially, but then she's like, oh wait, you're different.
Yeah, it's interesting how I think Haley's allegiances sort of lie in different places throughout the season. She sort of starts in one place and she's never really partnered up with anyone, which I think is kind of cool about her, is that we think in the beginning, and maybe even she thinks that she's sort of on team Whitney, but throughout the season, it kind of becomes like an every woman for herself thing, where she's kind of doing her own, she's playing her own game, and kind of doing it, I would say, in an improvisational way too, because she doesn't know what's going to happen. She doesn't know what her relationship with Henry and Yasmin is going to amount to, or how she can use it. And I think she's figuring that out for herself too. So it's kind of fun to see her just figure out how she can play this like game of chess that she's playing in real time.